2024, Driving Business.
Hello and warm welcome. Today is the Monday, the 19th of June 2023. And of course, it's a beautiful morning. Of course, I hope you enjoyed your weekend. This is Smart Business, your daily Kickstarter. And we are here, the crew, to give you the very best of news in regards to business. And of course, don't forget to invest with Zabu. It's just government where you can invest government bonds and other securities. And of course, we are always glad to have you on this program. And of course, we're here to make you comfortable. Don't forget to trade with Zabu. And of course, when you can dial *29# and you get the required initiatives if you want to trade with Zabu government bonds. And of course, you can Otex says do something new, and of course Zabu, my money, my future. Don't forget, it starts from 8 a.m. actually. It's just going to start in a few minutes and in a few hours and of course later in the evening. With no holidays this week, you can trade with your people of Zabu. Our morning call is going to be mainly focusing on actually the priorities when it came just last week. Actually, I must say, was the reading of the budget that was on Thursday, and of course there were priorities that were highlighted. For those that missed out, we're going to give you an overview, a feel on what the priorities actually were in this budget 2023-2024, and of course we shall be letting you know and giving you a much more information when it comes to priorities that were highlighted in the budget 2023-2024. And of course, I'm joined with Andrew Barige, and we are here to give you the very best. Morning, Barige.
Good morning, Mercy. How are you? How was your weekend?
My weekend was quite interesting. We received some showers of rain blessings on a Sunday afternoon right there.
A little bit, sometime I was telling somebody that, I'm really amazed by this rain. It never rains on a Saturday, it never rains on a Sunday, but it loves Monday mornings. I don't know why does it like Monday mornings so much. But anyway, it's quite a great blessing that we have all the way here. And now we are back this week as we're going to be delivering to you the business-related reports, both local and international. And definitely it will be very vital and very key when it comes to decision making and implementation. At the same time, of course, hope, like I always say, it's always good to set your priorities right whenever we get into a brand new week, getting to understand how the previous week was. I understand sometimes so many aspects may not have gone right, but definitely the weekend is always here for you to make sure that at least you make your priorities right, and I believe that able to be a match over very, very, very profitable. Of course, the weekend had quite lots of events, Saturday events, and quite lots of aspects. I mean, talking about the kids that got abducted in Kasese, and Kasese is quite some this potential tourist scenery, and now you see all these aspects happening in, and now the ultimate question could be, well,
who is behind this?
Exactly, away from what happened. I mean, other people actually. I remember.
I have an interesting story actually.
Yes.
People got talking about different their own reasons, and of course we are yet to find out what led to the cause. Of course, there were very young children, and of course we pray for their souls. I mean, it was bloodshed all over. It wasn't appealing to my eyes. I remember getting into a certain group and seeing the images. I was really disturbed.
It was really very, very disturbing. Actually, even some parents don't are not recommending their children to actually
Go to
go,
school.
to trips, not even schools, like trips that are associated, like the schools that do what we call field work trips. You go to these different places, you go to all these places. Now parents are kind of a little bit scared to let some of these children actually go for these related, for these related trips.
Talking about the three wise men that actually escaped the abduction. People go talking. Maybe
Rumor has it that they had escaped and they had gone to the disco.
for a disco. You never know, it may have been a blessing in disguise.
And everything happens for a reason.
Yeah,
that's one thing people need to know. Everything happens
and of
for a
course,
reason.
actually, East Africa, most of the countries, actually, I think from June to July, they released their budgets, and of course, a lot has been shared in regards to comparison of the different budgets in entire East Africa. Those that have high. Uganda is one of the ones that has had 2023-24 has a higher budget compared to other East African countries. Why? Because our debt is up there.
As increasing.
Has increased. Domestic borrowing. Something like that is actually leading to increase in the budget.
Okay. Well, right about now, let's get into our morning call as we take a look at what is really transpiring out there. All right, let's get straight to take a look at what's making headlines into the press in here. I think the morning call is still being sorted out there, probably. Maybe if we don't have it today, we shall have it tomorrow, what is meant for today, as we're working towards that. Well, now as we get to take a look at what's happening here, we have the East Africa, there is the New Vision,
and the Daily
Monitor. But of course, I'm going to be reading the the New Vision and the East African concurrently. Now, of course, as we take a look at the East African on the top pages, like Marcy had said, the different East African countries were reading out their budgets. So according to what we're looking at here, they say tough times. Of course, East African citizens are bracing for hardship as states impose punitive fiscal measures to implement ambitious budgets amid dwindling household incomes. And now, of course, we're seeing the different countries in here with the different budgets that have been put out there. Kenya, the budget is $26.3 billion, and coming in here to Tanzania, $19.2 billion, and Uganda, 13.9 billion US dollars.
Kenya has a higher budget.
Yeah, Kenya has a higher budget. Then there is Rwanda with 4.7 billion. Of course, taking a look at others, we see the Democratic Republic of Congo. Its budget was $16 billion. Burundi, $1.48 billion dollars. Then there is South Sudan, $1.39 billion dollars. Then, of course, there is the overall, combined East African Community budget coming into 103 million US dollars. Now, still on the top page, just been giving a highlight of the different nations and their budgets. We see Ramaphosa group faces challenges in peace quest. Of course, looking at explosions which rocked Kiev as African leaders led by South Africa's president, that is Cyril Ramaphosa, and Azali Assoumani, Africa Union chairperson, of course, and the president of Comoros arrived in the Ukraine as part of the African peace mission. And quite so many aspects here. Of course, outlook of how blockchain is impacting climate. You'll get to a single Bitcoin transaction consumes about 94.98 kilowatts. Yes, so you can really get yourself a copy of the East African and find out further what is happening.
Janet Museveni puts spin on ADF attack theory, and of course we see a number of pictures of the students that were actually murdered, and they were murdered and burnt.
Murdered, yeah.
This was quite intense for the parents to take in, and of course more of that. Museveni wins battle against COVID-19. That means, of course, he's safe, and of course Justice Raj Amoko, someone you didn't know, of course. Of course, we shall be digesting much more in the Daily Monitor, but that is what we can give for the front page. What has been making headlines over the weekend is the attack of the ADF to the pupils or the students or the children in Kasese district, neighboring district to Congo.
To Congo, exactly. Now here, as we take a look at the New Vision, we see still the major headline here being, of course, the matters of Kasese, as Pope and the world leaders came out to condemn the attack. Now, Museveni orders fresh deployment, and the First Lady speaks out on the tragedy. Now, of course, we see still further Swedish envoy impressed. That is by plastic recycling, further, and of course, we see the untapped billions in the tourism sector. You'll definitely find all that when you get yourself a copy of the New Vision. All right.
And of course, there are opportunities in the 2023-2024 budget. That is according to ABSA. ABSA said that there are various policy initiatives in the 2023-2024 budget that will lead to increased economic activity, which will benefit both business community and the banking sector. Like I said, priorities. And of course, a court stops termination of joint venture project for the World Bank roads. Now, court has stopped Ditako International Farm from terminating a joint venture into the multiplex that had put construction of government roads and parts of western Uganda in jeopardy. I remember there was a story about a multiplex. They were contracted billions of money to construct roads in Kabale district. There was shoddy work. They didn't do anything.
They didn't do anything?
Nothing. They just cleaned up the road. The road is still muddy. When it rains, it's muddy. With the sun, it's dusty. So it's affecting businesses. So you see, shoddy work. I must say, I was
That's why the army is still taking contracts of putting up roads together. See if we can exhibit such unseriousness and inefficiency. Well, lots of contracts are going to be taken by other people. Now, still, we see here about more than 100 exhibitors take stalls at Bride and Groom Expo. And now Expo, of course, lauded for establishing a global network and clientele. Of course, we see a Vision Group will hold its 14th edition of the Bride and Groom Expo. That is from Friday, June 23rd to Sunday, 25th. To June. From Friday to June 25th. That is to Sunday, June 25th still. So you can get yourself and get to find out how best can you position yourself. That is to be a part of this. Now, President Museveni wins corona battle as he tests negative. Of course, you've not been seeing him, but he has won the battle. Now he's back. You're gonna feel him like never before.
He's going to talk about the budget more.
Yes.
Advisors, people really missed him. I saw the people were signing in when actually he was right there sick, and people were praying on their knees, praying.
Lots of people were putting out their prayers of,
I guess
sympathy.
They worked out, really. I must say, prayers worked out. Now, improper disposal of diapers chokes Mbale. Local authorities in Mbale district have decried improper disposal of diapers, with several often dumped in the pathways, trenches, garbage, and despite the health risks associated with them. I must say, diapers, sanitaries, these are things we're supposed to, I believe each home or each community should have this, what is it called, where they burn the sanitaries.
Sanitaries, yeah.
A chimney. Where they burn that it just to, because they suffocate. They're in trenches, they're in dustbins.
Yeah.
It's looking undesirable. So if we could have where they could ban them, it's better off. The water is, we are being affected with waste.
Huge waste.
What happened to the days when we had what are they called, nappies? It was much more. I mean, parents did not have. Parents don't have
to throw and ban and stuff.
You can't. It's just that we are very busy as parents. We don't have time to change kids and wash. But it was more comfortable for children. Realize Pampers have a health impact on that. They get rashes, some get rashes, and of course it affects the children and of course us, the people living around such communities where there are diapers and sanitary pads all over the place. So definitely we could do recyclable ones. We could, there are very many things that are coming up. Or we could go back and use nappies.
Well, people, the age we're living in is more of a disposable age. You're used to using something, you don't want to use it again. You drop it probably. Is it laziness? I don't know. Well, now still further we see government pledges to resolve pre-medical interns in past. And of course the government is committed to resolving, and that is the financial woes of pre-medical interns in different parts of the country. Of course, I think the noise has been finally heard about what they have been complaining. Recently when some officials came out and say those who are rich doing internship, those were quite very breaking statements, and
I don't think people say things, and of course us as citizens we take it in a different way.
All right. Right about now, the images we are observing, they are coming in from the Ginger Road. Traffic lights, that's opposite access road. You can take a look and you see very congested. Of course, while we're pointing at there comes straight, that is connecting to the industrial area side. For the people that are coming in from Chivuli, I can really see your area is very complex. It's very complex. That is the access road. Now for the people that are coming in from 6th Street, 7th Street and the 8th Street, it seems to be very hard for you. Just in case you're going to be coming to town, chances are high that you may not be able to reach in the required time according to the look of things here. It seems really very, very complicated, complex situation. And of course, accompanied with the potholes around the access road roundabout, it makes it even much more worse as compared to that. And I can see quite a number of people, students, pupils, reporting to the different institutes to make sure that they do what they ought to do. And many borders around there at the Junior Road traffic lights. So probably if you're coming in from, I know there are people that come in from Zambia, you're coming in from Gabon, sometimes you want to make shortcuts and branch off through Chivuli and come in here. I can tell you one thing, it's really very hectic if you're just setting off right now. It's very hectic and you will be delayed to reach in your required destiny like how you ought to. Of course, I can see the traffic officers in full control of this. I'm making sure that there is absolute respect, that is to the traffic rules, to avoid any further traffic inconveniences that can happen on an early morning, and it being a Monday in there. So that is our eyes where they are looking at, and probably now as we switching away and taking a look at the Yusuf Lule route, of course, which links to the Nile Avenue. That side as you're heading to Garden City, you can take a look there and see quite many borders mainly that are dominating this lane, but it's normally free. It doesn't really have much of traffic at most cases, unlike today. Might be a different one, but it's never really that much congested. But we've not yet looked at the overall of it. And now switching our eyes to the Kampala Road, of course connecting straight to the Ginger Road. You can see it's a little bit blank. it's a little bit blank. Actually, those that are coming in from town and heading towards the city center, there is a difference. Yes, now, of course, taking a look back our eyes to the vehicles that have been lined up here at the Yusuf Lule Road, it seems very congested. According to the look of things, I can see a long fleet, but the advantage in here is that despite that, when the vehicles are released, before you know it, in a few minutes, it's always set free. Now, there are some people that, like, you're coming in from Nakawa, you're coming from Kampala and you're heading towards Nakawa and you want to avoid a jam. What you do, you can pass via the Yusuf Lule, the Nile Avenue Road Connect. That is towards Kingdom, Kampala. You'll be able to slope down, connect to Garden City. There, it's a free lane for you to head towards Nakawa or Muntinda. You could be also heading to Bugalobi. It's very okay. You'll be able to reach in the required time that you ought to reach. It's already safe. It's one of the easier ways. Other than sometimes being held in the traffic lights on the Ginger Road as you're heading towards Nakawa. It's kind of a little bit harder, but when you use the Garden City route, it's much more easy, and in most cases you're not really affected by the heavy jam in there. Yes, that's according to the look of things, and quite so many public vehicles, the taxis, use those routes as they are heading to those given different destinations. Yes, now of course switching our eyes to the vehicles that are coming in from Ginger Road, connecting to Kampala Road. And now, of course, like you can have a look, that's a combination of the vehicles that are coming in from Nakawa, Chireka, Boyogere, Mukono, and those vehicles that are coming in from the Port Bell Road. And here I'm talking about Lozira, Chitintale, and even Bugolobi actually, yes. So that's why you see there is quite a huge fleet of vehicles. So if you're coming in from Nakawa, you're coming to town, well, you better find an alternative. This is way, it's not the right zone for you. If you're coming in from Tinda, from Chitintale, from Lozira, and probably your destination is still town and you plan to pass via the Ginger Road traffic lights, well, chances are high that you might be held back a little bit when it comes to execution. So you could find out a better alternative for you to ensure that you can actually reach in the required time and execute what you ought to execute. Of course, finally, as we wind this up, looking at the access road, you can see the situation is a little bit coming, but it's deceptive. Yes, because still around on the roundabout there, you can see there is a huge congestion. Of course, I come in with massive potholes. Well, it's 27 minutes past 7, and that is it for the traffic updates this morning. And of course, right about now, let's get into a break. But before we get there, don't forget the markets on the Zabo platform, which are going to be opening anytime soon. Star 292 hash is the USSD code for you, where you will be available with a number of options, where you will be able to buy government bonds and securities for just as little as 15,000 Ugandan shillings. Now, the markets will be opening at 8:15 a.m., closing at 3:15 p.m. East African time, and this is effective up to Friday, except on the weekend and the public holidays. But this week, I don't think there is a public holiday, so just like last week, it's going to be just a smooth run over. Yes, and the weekends, the markets are inaccessible. But despite the fact, you have the rest of the days to capitalize and make yourself quite some huge lots of money. And Zabo make this a reality. There is no excuses why you shouldn't own government bonds and securities, really. It's just made just something for anyone. You know, all you need is your mobile phone and you'll be able to buy government bonds and securities. Now, Zabo simply says, my money, my future. And Altec East Africa says, do something new for yourself, 2023. Wait, right about now, as 2 minutes to the top, that is to 7:30. Let's get into the break. And of course, when we return, we shall be taking a look at what's happening on the East African community. And of course, wind it up with the international business related news. Good morning.